Good evening, everybody. After I started preparing this, I thought, what in the world was I thinking? Abbreviated 30 minutes. I really need to stop at 25 minutes. So this is going to be fast and furious. I'm just going to warn you. So I wish I wouldn't have chose this, but I did it. Why I believe that Christ did not die on Friday. Next slide. So we get into the 3 days, 3 nights. So is it full 3 days? Is it not? And I pulled out Matthew chapter 12 and verse 40, which says, "For as Jonah was 3 days and 3 nights in the belly of the great fish," you can read that in Jonah chapter 1 and verse 17, "so will the Son of Man be 3 days and 3 nights in the heart of the earth." So that is written in such a way to express the exactness. 3 days, 1, 2, 3, 3 nights. Anybody ever eat at the Whippet? Prattsville? So if you order a 2-piece, how many do you get? 3. If you eat a 3-piece, what do you get? Yeah, they can't count in Prattsville. Brother Carroll can testify. All right, so 1, 2, 3 means 3. 1, 2, 3 means 3, all right? The exactness. So down there at the bottom, many verses of Scripture that tells you 3 days on the third day. The simplest reading is 3 days, 3 nights. What do you mean, day and night? We'll get to that. But day is when the sun's up. Night is when it's not. That simple enough? Next slide. So 3 days and 3 nights is where I start. Now let's start with Crucifixion Day. So the day that Jesus was crucified, he was on the cross at the 3rd hour. So here's how you count that. They counted the day, not the 24-hour day, but the day, not the night, but the day was when the sun rises. They're a lot smarter than we are. But our day starts at midnight. I don't understand that at all, because the sun is not up at midnight, if you hadn't figured that out, unless you're in Alaska or somewhere. So they started their day, the day when the sun rose. So you start counting 1, 2, 3, 4. The 3rd hour, it was all by the sun, not by a clock, was somewhere around 9 o'clock. Sunrise during this time. Sunset, as you see at the bottom there, they're in the same hemisphere as we are. So their sun and day and night is going to be similar. So 6 to 6:30 sunset. 6 to 6:30 sunrise. Now, forget daylight savings time, would you? Because I can't do daylight savings time. It really confuses me. I'm staying on standard time. So this would be as if we were on the old time, not daylight savings time like we are now. So 3rd hour, 9 a.m. He was on the cross, and it was the last thing that we hear is the 9th hour. So we count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, which is our 3 p.m.-ish. Okay? So from 9 a.m., 3 p.m., he was on the cross. Seemingly shortly thereafter, he died. He died somewhere around, let's just say 3 to 4 o'clock standard time. All right, next slide. All right, go to Resurrection Day. All 4 Gospels are very clear. You read the evidence. I won't take the time to read it. Matthew, Mark, Luke, John says, on the first day of the week. What's the first day of the week? It's always been Sunday. It's always been Sunday. That's another reason that I believe God exists. We have a 7-day week, and it begins on Sunday. It's always been that way. Why? Because that's what God did at creation. So Sunday's always been the first day of the week. So this was Sunday. So it's on the first day of the week, but notice what it says. It began to dawn, Matthew, very early in the morning. Luke, very early in the morning. Look what, I didn't put John down there. This is John. John, while it was still dark. So this is even as the sun is about to rise, but it's still dark. So it's not quite sunrise yet. It's as it's beginning to rise, okay? This is the ladies going to the tomb, and what do they find out? The stone's rolled away, the tomb is empty, Jesus is gone. Next slide. So we know from 3 o'clock the day before till very early in the morning on the first day of the week, Jesus was in the tomb. Okay, here's where I confuse you. Our day begins at midnight, which is really silly in my opinion. Their day, the Jewish day, so follow, you got our day, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, all the way to Sunday. You got the Jew day, the Jewish day, began when the sun went down. So you're watching the sun go down, and when you can't see that sun anymore, it's a new day. We have night before day. You remember in the creation narrative, and the evening and the morning were the first day, night before day. So we got Wednesday night, Wednesday, Thursday night, Thursday, Friday night, Friday, Saturday night, Saturday, Sunday night. Well, we won't even go that far, okay? So Saturday, look at the Jew day. Saturday began when the sun went down. It's still Saturday in our thinking. Okay, it's Saturday. We've watched the baseball game. The sun's going down, and the sun goes down. We still think Saturday, right? It's Sunday now in the Jew thinking. Look at it. Top of the line, Saturday. You see Saturday night, what we call Saturday night? That's Sunday night. Right? That's Sunday night, night before day. Night before day. This is Sunday night. Here's what I'm telling you. Jesus could have risen any time, our time, Saturday, sun goes down. Jesus could have risen a minute later, and that's Sunday night, first day of the week. I'm looking for confusion. I see it over here a little bit. What about y'all? All right, Saturday night, let's just say, I know right now sundown's about 7:40 something. So you're Saturday night, you're sitting on your front porch, and you watch the sun go down. And the sun goes down. What happened? It is now Sunday night, because night before day. All right? It's best I can do for y'all. See those little arrows showing that nighttime? Anytime. Our Saturday night, their Sunday night, till the time the sun rose the next morning, which would be Sunday, our Sunday too. Anytime during that night Jesus rose, he rose on the first day of the week. Okay? Next slide. Wednesday. Here we go. We're going to do some counting. How many does 3 mean? In Prattsville it means 4. But in the Bible it means 3. Jesus was in the grave. Now look at that. Christ died and buried. This is their Wednesday, our Wednesday. Jesus was in the grave before, are you ready? Their Thursday night or our Wednesday night. See that little arrow right before night? Because he had to be in the grave before that nighttime, because that was the beginning of a day, and that was a Sabbath day. That was a Sabbath day. Okay, we got to get him in the grave. That's why they went to break his legs. We got to get him in the grave because we don't bury on Sabbath days. All right, so he had to be in the grave before that nighttime. All right, so we count 1 night, 1 day, 2 nights, 2 days, 3 nights, 3 days, and as I said, he could have risen a minute after sunset and it still be the first day of the week. All right, if you count 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, and I will give you a few minutes or hours on Wednesdays and Sunday, depending on when he rose. He rose in the night. How do I know he rose in the night? Because they came there while it was still night. The stone had been rolled away. And if you read the episode of the soldiers guarding the tomb and the earthquake and all that, and they were sleeping. So it was nighttime. So he rose somewhere in the night. So this allows 3 full days. That's my point. 3 full days. I give you the specifics down there. Next slide. Now let's talk about Thursday. That's a possibility. Still, we're saying Jesus has to be in the grave before night. Now, I've shifted it, right? So now I'm talking our Thursday, their Thursday, our Friday night, or excuse me, their Friday night, which is our Thursday night, until midnight anyway, right? Jesus is in the grave before that night. So I can count part of that day, even if it's just an hour to 30 minutes, I can count a part of Thursday, all Friday night, all Friday, all Saturday night, all Saturday, and then I'm going to count most of Sunday night, but somewhere before sunrise on Sunday. So I can count 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, even though day 1 is a part day and third night is a part night. Specifics underneath. You can't get 72 hours out of that, no way. But you can get a part of 3 days and a part of 3 nights. You can get 2 full days, 2 full days, 2 full nights, a part of a third day, and a part of a third night. Next slide. Now let's look at Friday. Now I didn't say I didn't believe Wednesday, I didn't believe Thursday, I said I don't believe Friday. Why not? You can't get 3 days and 3 nights. No way you figure it. You can't get 3 days and 3 nights. So, I don't care if you look at our time or their time, but we're going to stay with the day he was crucified, daytime, our Friday, their Friday. Looking at the chart, our Friday, their Friday. He's got to be in the grave before our Friday night or their Saturday night. I can get part of one day, all of one night, all of the second day. I can get most of the second night. But there is no way I can get 3 days and 3 nights. Or even part of them. Can't. You can't get 3 days and 3 nights because Jesus was gone before the sun rose on Sunday. Next slide. So why do they believe Friday? Right here. Why do you believe Friday? Because that's what the Bible says. Mark's gospel, when evening had come, because it was preparation day, that is the day before the Sabbath. When Sabbath? What day of the week is Sabbath? Saturday. So what's the day before Saturday? There you go. There's your answer. But were there other Sabbaths that were not Saturday? We'll see. Next slide. High Sabbaths. This is John's Gospel. Preparation day, that the body should not remain on the cross on Sabbath day. Our mind says Saturday. In parenthesis, for that Sabbath was a high day. Megos, Greek word. A megos day was a high Sabbath. Next slide. Here's your Sabbath days. First month, every Saturday is a Sabbath day. The Passover feast of the first month. Now, the first month's not January. It's kind of March, April. Jewish calendars and Gregorian calendars don't match up very well. They have different days, different number of days. Here's what we know. 14th day. On the 10th day, you got to choose a lamb. On the 14th day, you got to prepare that lamb. And when the evening of that day, that's turning into the next day, you slay that lamb and you eat the Passover meal. Right after it, the day after Passover Day, is the first day of the Feast of Unleavened Bread. The first day and the seventh day of the Feast of Unleavened Bread is a Sabbath day. It's sort of like Christmas. Nobody works on Christmas unless you work in a hospital, right? And these were Sabbath days. So Jesus was crucified on Passover Day. I can tell you for sure he was crucified on the Passover. It didn't make any difference if it was Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. The next day after Passover was a Sabbath day. Period. The next day was a Sabbath day. Why? Because it's the first day of the Feast of Unleavened Bread. There's your verse references, Exodus and Leviticus, right up there at the top. Next slide. While we're there, I will tell you the seventh month had extra Sabbath days. This is John chapter 7 and verse 37. It was the Feast of the Tabernacles. So up in your chart, that's F-tab, the F-tabs there. And it says on the last day, that great Megos day of the feast. Well, the first day of the Feast of Tabernacles and the last day of the Feast of Tabernacles were Megos days, Sabbath days. So it didn't make any difference what day of the week it fell on. It was going to be a Sabbath day. Next slide. So, first bit of evidence why I don't believe it's on Friday. You can't get 3 days out of it. But that messes up. How in the world was he crucified and then the next day the Sabbath? Because he was crucified on Passover, and every day after Passover, no matter what day of the week it fell on, was a Sabbath day. Feast of Unleavened Bread. The women and their spices. Oh, where you can find evidence in the Bible. All right. I can do this all in 6 minutes. First thing, Matthew and Luke. While Joseph of Arimathea and Nicodemus were preparing Jesus' body, these women were watching. They wanted to know what tomb he would be laid in, because it was a tradition that you went back and you anointed these bodies for a period of time. Why'd you do that? To hold down the stink. Just saying. Just hold down the stink. Next slide. So, I'm comparing Mark and Luke. Mark first. So that verse right up at that I just looked at, that was the last verse of chapter 15. Next verse of Mark says, now when the Sabbath day was passed, what Sabbath day are we talking about? Are we talking about Saturday? Or are we potentially talking about another Sabbath? Mary Magdalene, Mary the mother of James, bought spices. Here's my point. This is my issue. This is my contention. If we got a Wednesday crucifixion, let's just say, a Wednesday crucifixion, Thursday's a Sabbath day, what do you buy on Sabbath days? Nothing. Then you got Friday, not a Sabbath day. Then you got Saturday, weekly Sabbath. Rise again before Saturday night, or sometime during Saturday night or early Sunday morning. All right? So the Sabbath was passed. A Sabbath had passed. And they bought spices. Did they buy, if this is Saturday, did they buy spices? So when does Sabbath day end on Saturday? When the sun goes down. Now we're in Sunday morning, or Sunday night actually. We're in Sunday night. Are the shops open on Sunday night? They may be. I won't deny it. But they got very little time to buy these spices, prepare these spices. Now let's look at Luke's. And they returned and prepared spices and fragrant oil, and then they rested on the Sabbath. So Mark says the Sabbath had passed, and then they bought spices. Luke says they returned and prepared spices, and then they rested on the Sabbath. Are you following me? If I can dance this out a little bit. The Sabbath passed. Next day, they bought spices. Next day, they bought spices back here. They bought spices and prepared spices. Next day, they rested on the Sabbath. Sabbath passed, bought spices, prepared spices, rested on the Sabbath. We got 2 Sabbaths. Next slide. Very early in the morning, on the first day of the week, they came to the tomb when the sun had risen. That's basically the same thing. It says, now on the first day of the week, very early in the morning, they and certain other women with them came to the tomb, bringing the spices which they had prepared. Next slide. So I mapped this out for you. Assuming this is a Wednesday crucifixion. Jesus was crucified on Wednesday. The women observed that. Night falls, Sabbath day. It's the Sabbath of the Feast of Unleavened Bread. The women prepare spices. The only day they could have done that would have been Friday. If you do a Thursday crucifixion, you got a little issue of where they bought these spices and how they prepared them. So they preparing the spices on a Friday, then they got to rest on the Sabbath. So they bought the Sabbath passed on Thursday. They bought spices, prepared spices. Then they rested on the Sabbath day to take it to Jesus' tomb sometime early Sunday, or really middle of the Sunday, which is night before day. Yeah, what he said, right? Next slide. So, in doing all this, and I kind of went, why does this even matter? Well, I have an answer for that. I really do. Why does this even matter? It's been a bit, but I'm always reading something on the internet, and I read on the internet an atheist website of one of the reasons why they don't believe the Bible is accurate. Guess what one of the evidences were for why they don't believe that the Bible is accurate? Jesus' crucifixion on Friday and him saying 3 days and 3 nights. Amen. And I thought, I was actually reading for something else. And I thought, well, there you go. There is a reason, not all the reasons, but a reason why Friday's not a good presentation. So you say, are you telling me that I can't celebrate Good Friday? No, I'm not telling you that. Why not celebrate Good Wednesday? Or even Good Thursday, I just don't see Friday at all. Now, I'm going to tell you, I used to think Good Friday. And I think I've had some arguments with some of you about it back in the day. And I just kind of swallowed it. I was like, good enough for everybody else, good enough for me. And then I went down that rabbit trail. Y'all remember the rabbit trail. I went down that rabbit trail and I really wanted to find out. And I'm pretty convinced Wednesdays, I think, is the best answer. Thursday's a good answer. Friday's unacceptable. That's kind of where I'm at. Can you believe I did that? And I'm done. All right. So thank you for indulging me. And that's why from here on, until the Lord calls me home, I'm gonna celebrate the crucifixion on Wednesday night. That's why we have Wednesday night services. Did y'all not know that? We worship on Sunday because of the resurrection. We have midweek service on Wednesday because that's when Christ was crucified. That's my story. I'm sticking to it. Let's do announcements real quick. Prayer request. Announcements first. Before I get to say it, reach assignments are available in the office area. So pick up a reach assignment tonight. Make an effort. Thursday, which would be tomorrow, Senior Adult Game Day, 2 to 4 p.m., Fellowship Hall. And yeah, we're going to have Easter Sunday this coming Sunday. And I tell you what, I can guarantee it and pound on the pulpit. Jesus rose on a Sunday. No doubt. And that's why it's called the Lord's Day. So Easter sunrise service, 6:30. There is a potential of rain, isn't there? So my people are telling me we're going to give it 24 more hours. And tomorrow at some point, maybe less than 24 hours, but tomorrow at some point we'll make the decision, because there's way too much work that has to happen to set it up. If we feel like the chance of rain is more than not, then we'll probably just move it in here. So if we have it outside, bring a chair, bring a lawn chair to set in. If you happen to forget yours, we'll make sure that there's some out there. But bring a lawn chair. Best case scenario, we will be set up out in the front. 6:30, we're usually done 7:30 at the longest. And then, but if it rains or potential of rain, we'll move it in here and have the same service in here. Sunday school 9:45, 10:45 worship services. Do we have any other announcements? Anything at all? All right, moving along. Let me say good night to our online audience. Thanks for being here. Send your prayer requests to us. Abbreviated service tonight because we have a business meeting.